this video, you're going to see a situation that escalated quite dramatically. I've experienced a few situations like this in the past, but never one that was escalated as dramatically as this one. It did not happen to me, it happened to René, a viewer of the channel that decided to send in the footage that he recorded during this interaction. He was flying at a public accessible historical site near Bastrup Lake, which is one of the many lakes that we have here in the local area. He was using a small drone like this, a Autel Nano Plus, which is a sub 250 gram drone, which makes it quite easy on the regulations. Luckily, he was also recording video from the ground with his GoPro. Unfortunately, the GoPro was not started before the neighbor entered the site. So we are stepping in after the dialogue has been going on for a while, but still before it started to escalate. So just to fill you in on the context, this tower is positioned at a public accessible spot, and you are completely free to fly there in terms of regulation. The problem is that this property next to the tower has a little piece of land that goes in front of the tower, basically blocking the path between the tower and the lake. It's not fenced, so flying low over this strip of land, that was sort of the culprit of this confrontation. I will talk a little bit more about this in the end of the video, as well as include some vital information in case that you're in the area and decide to go to visit that site. This, of course, makes it very difficult to assess where you are allowed to fly, especially when you're out there on location in real life. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. That he should have done his homework before he went on site, but he didn't. And he made the assessment while he was on site. So approximately 5 minutes into the flight, one of the local residents acted quite aggressively. So bad that in one point in the footage, he actually knocks the camera out of René's hand. And while you listen to the rest of the dialogue, I will switch to the drone camera, so you can see that it's still hanging there over the lake while the situation escalates, where the neighbor prevents the drone pilot from bringing his aircraft back and land it safely. Feel free to comment below and tell me how you would handle this situation. And now, trouble begins.
Man må ikke forstyrre nogen, der flyver med drone.
Jamen, prøv at høre. Jamen, prøv at lade være med det der.
Nej, det lader jeg ikke være med.
Prøv at høre, du fløj ind over min have.
Nej, jeg har ikke fløjet ind over din have.
Du flyver også ind over min grund hernede. Du flyver ned over min grund hernede.
Nej, det gør jeg ikke, for det her det er ikke din grund, vi står på, vel?
Nej, men du flyver der, og du flyver derude.
Ja, derude, jeg ser. Ja, det er Bastrup Sø.
Jamen, du flyver også derude på jorden derude.
So what happens now is that the camera is actually being knocked out of René's hand by the neighbor, while the drone is still hovering over Bastrup Lake.
Ja, det er sgu da dig, der skal stoppe.
Du stopper, du skal ikke stå og filme mig.
Det er sgu da dig, der skal stoppe. Det her det er politi lige nu.
Jamen så meld du
må, hvis den her drone styrter ned, så er det erstatningssag. Du kommer i retten.
Ja, så må du sende mig.
Slut med dig.
Så må du da sende mig.
Nej.
Du skal bare ikke flyve ind over en gang til.
Jeg gider overhovedet ikke høre på dig.
Og så skal du ikke stå og filme mig.
Jeg gider overhovedet ikke at høre på dig.
Knæbude, mand.
Det er sgu dig, der er det. Det er helt sikkert.
Så skud hjem til Jylland, hvor du kommer fra.
Ved du hvad? Du har lige brudt loven. Du må ikke forstyrre nogen, der flyver med drone. Og jeg har ikke fløjen. Jeg har fløjen op over det sten, der er her.
Du var da helt.
Nej, det var jeg ikke. Og det kan jeg bevise på filmen.
Du kan ikke bevise den.
Jo, det kan jeg. Skal vi tage den i retten?
Ja,
hvad er dit navn?
Jamen, så gør det ikke skævt.
Jeg er ligeglad, hvad du kalder mig.
Jamen, det kan
Du har fejl. Du er forkert på den. Og det er dig, der ikke vil snakke om noget. Du kommer sgu da skubber til mig og forstyrrer mig.
Det var da dig, der skubbede til mig.
Og så er du stolt af, om min drone den styrter ned. Prøv at se mit kamera, det ligger derude.
Så må du da lade være med at stå og ryste.
Det er sgu det, fordi du forstår bare skubber til mig.
Nej, du ryster på helvede.
Ja, jeg bad dig om at flytte dig.
Jamen, har du ikke fået dine piller til morgen?
You can always argue how René is handling this, but remember that he's under pressure with the drone hovering above the lake. And this neighbor, he's really provoking him, saying stuff like calling him a wimp, calling him have you got your pills today, go back to Jutland where you're coming from, and stuff like that. So this is of course a very tough situation that's very hard to de-escalate when it has reached this point.
Jamen, har du ikke fået dine piller til morgen?
Det er sgu da dig, der er mærkelig. Hold kæft, du er en idiot, mand.
He's even saying that you deserve to get slapped on the face.
Nå, men så kommer politiet der i hvert fald.
Ja, det vil jeg da sætte pris på.
Man har lov at flyve her.
Nej,
jo, det har man.
du har ikke lov til at flyve.
Prøv at gå ind på dronezoner.dk. Slut! Slut! Ved du hvad? Nu stopper du bare. Du har forstyrret mig, og det må man ikke. Det må man ikke. Læs reglerne. Nej, læs reglerne. Jamen, du er helt forkert på den. Det er også dig, der kommer hen og generer mig, ikke også? Jeg har ikke fløjen over din grund, for det her det er et offentligt område. Ja, jeg har også fløjen her. Ja, her! 1 meter ved siden af mig. Og det er over den her Bastrup Tower. Det kan godt være, at du kan se dronen derindefra. Men det er ikke ensbetydende med, at jeg flyver over din grund, vel? Slut med dig. Idiot. Hvad siger du? Er du dum eller hvad? Det er sgu da dig, der skubber. Jeg bliver nødt til at gå derud, fordi du har skubbet mit kamera derude, ikke? Hold kæft, der er skrid! Det er ligegyldigt, hvad jeg gør.
In the end, he's trying to mitigate the situation by saying, yeah, you were just shaking your hands. This is why you lost your camera in the field. But let's just replay that part again to make sure that this is not what happened.
Ja, det er Bastrup Sø.
Jamen, du flyver også derude på jorden derude.
Ja, det er sgu da dig, der skal stoppe.
Nu stopper du. Du skal ikke stå og flyve mig.
Du kan passe dig selv.
So that was a rough one. That's also how I felt when I watched the footage for the first time. This is unfortunately what many of new drone pilots may experience when they go out flying in places where they are fully allowed to fly. They are up against people that are pretty sure that they know the regulation and feel the need to sort of go and interact with people and tell them what to do and what they are not allowed to do. This is also why it's important to make these videos. But I must say, this footage has been sitting on my hard drive for quite a while before putting it out. Because I've been watching the flight logs from René, and there's no doubt that this interaction from the neighbor is unjustified. And I'm considering making a follow-up video on the topic where I will discuss how to handle this situation and do the flying in a proper way so you don't break the law. I know this is of course based on the Danish interpretation of the drone laws, but as they are based on the EASA drone rule set that covers across Europe, I can't say that because then the Brits will go mad at me. It covers EU, the member states of EU, then the rules will more or less apply and the techniques will more or less apply to all areas, at least inside EU. If you're interested in a video like that, then make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, as well as write part 2 in the comments so I can test the interest of a follow-up video like that. I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, but I'm convinced that this could have panned out differently if the dialogue has been handled in another way. Because none of them were willing to back down, making it pretty difficult to de-escalate the situation. I fully understand this because I've tried it myself several times. You're not acting 100% rational when people are coming from the side to attack you. You have a drone flying, you have a drone hanging out the lake out there and the battery is draining, and then you enter into an argument and you get the discussion back and forward. So that's really not an ideal situation, and it's really hard to predict what will happen if you end up in a situation like this and how you would basically react. And the reason why you get insecure is because you are a relative new pilot and you are not 100% into the regulation, you're not 100% into the technology, and you really don't have a solid plan how to de-escalate situations like these. So these are 3 parameters that you need to have in control before you go out to public sites, as there are chances that you will run into situations like this. And this is something that I work with my Danish client to get them sort of dressed to handle situations like that. If you are from here and you decide to go to this tower, I do want to include very vital information because I've seen comments on some of the Danish videos that I put out that people will go there to sort of provoke a situation like this. I will not recommend you to do that for 2 reasons. It does not benefit the drone business at all to provoke these confrontations. And for me personally, I don't seek them, not at all. It just happens when I'm out there, I have a camera running, and then suddenly I have footage that I can turn into a video that I can use for educational purpose. I don't care about the person in the video or the persons in the video. I don't care about that, because that's also why I blur the faces and all that stuff, because the people are not relevant at all for this discussion, but it's important because the public discussion around drones, that's very, very one-sided. It's basically the public that are blaming all the drone pilots for all the bad stuff that is going on out there. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on out there. I totally agree on that. But most of us, we are trying just to fly our drones and mind our own business. The second thing is that the ownership has changed out there. So it's not this guy that you see on the video. He's not living on the property anymore. So there are new owners out there, and it would be a pretty shame to go out and harass the new owners because of something that the previous owner did. So if you decide to go out there, then be aware of this piece of private land that are between the lake and the tower, and make sure to go to plus 100 meter, fly at least 5 meters per second. If you cross that section, then you are perfectly fine to fly and film out there. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. And stay safe out there.